Today we're talking about neural plasticity, which is this incredible feature of our nervous systems that allows it to change in response to experience. Neural plasticity is arguably one of the most important aspects of our biology. It holds the promise for each and all of us to think differently, to learn new things, to forget painful experiences, and to essentially adapt to anything that life brings us by becoming better. Now, neuroplasticity has a long and important history, and we're not going to review all of it in detail. But today what we are going to do is discuss what is neuroplasticity, as well as the different forms of neuroplasticity. We're going to talk about how to access neuroplasticity, depending on how old you are and depending on the specific types of changes that you're trying to create. This is a topic for which there are lots of tools, as well as lots of biological principles that we can discuss. So let's get started. Most people are familiar with the word neural plasticity. It's sometimes also called neuroplasticity. Those are the same thing. So if I say neural plasticity or neuroplasticity, I'm referring to the same process, which is the brain and nervous system's ability to change itself. There are a lot of reasons why the nervous system would do this. It could do it in response to some traumatic event. It could, for instance, create a sense of fear around a particular place or a fear of automobiles or planes. It could also occur when something positive happens, like the birth of our first child, or when our puppy does something amusing, or we see an incredible feat of performance in athleticism. The word neuroplasticity means so many things to so many different people that I thought it would be important to just first put a little bit of organizational logic around what it is and how it happens. Because nowadays, if you were to go online and Google the word neuroplasticity, you would find hundreds of thousands of references, scientific references, as well as a lot of falsehoods about what neuroplasticity is and how to access it. As I mentioned before, we're going to talk about the science of it, and we're going to talk about the tools that allow you to engage this incredible feature of your nervous system. And that's the first point, which is that all of us were born with a nervous system that isn't just capable of change, but was designed to change. When we enter the world, our nervous system is primed for learning. The brain and nervous system of a baby is wired very crudely. The connections are not precise. And we can see evidence of that in the fact that babies are kind of flopping there like a kind of a little potato bug with limbs. They can't really do much in terms of coordinated movement. They certainly can't speak, and they can't really do anything with precision. And that's because we come into this world over-connected. We have essentially wires. Those wires have names like axons and dendrites. Those are the different parts of the neurons discussed in episode 1. But those little parts and those wires and connections are everywhere. Imagine a bunch of roads that are all connected to one another in kind of a mess, but there are no highways. They're all just small roads. That's essentially what the young nervous system is like. And then as we mature, as we go from day one of life to 10 years old, 20 years old, 30 years old, what happens is particular connections get reinforced and stronger, and other connections are lost. So that's the first important principle that I want everyone to understand, which is that developmental plasticity, the neuroplasticity that occurs from the time we're born until about age 25, is mainly a process of removing connections that don't serve our goals well. Now, of course, certain events happen during that birth to 25 period in which positive events and negative events are really stamped down into our nervous system in a very dramatic fashion by what we call one trial learning. We experience something once, and then our nervous system is forever changed by that experience. Unless, of course, we go through some work to undo that experience. So I want you to imagine in your mind that when you were brought into this world, you were essentially a widely connected web of connections that was really poor at doing any one thing. And that through your experience, what you were exposed to by your parents or other caretakers, through your social interactions, through your thoughts, through the languages that you learned, through the places you traveled or didn't travel, your nervous system became customized to your unique experience. Now, that's true for certain